Hello, everybody. I've gathered you all here at this meeting to announce our new partnership with Microsoft to develop a game for their newly announced Project Natal. Now, with this new peripheral device, we plan on Dude, is that a flannel dress shirt? No, not at this meeting. Nope. Get out. Out. Out! Well, now that he's gone, with this new opportunity to push to a new sales market, I was going to see if any of you guys had any currently developing games to see if we can convert them for the new Kinect. Does anyone have any ideas? Well, we could use the Virtua Fighter IP for a new motion style-based game that uses the Kinect features. Not bad. Not something we can adapt to right away, but keeping it on the table. Well, you could make an RTS style game where you drop units in with your fingers and your hands. Sounds neat. A little slow paced, but neat. Ooh, we're working on that new HD Sonic Riders game. We could easily adapt it to motion controls by having you lean back and forth to turn the hoverboard and stuff. Oh, that is a fantastic idea. Just give that man a promotion right now. Just go on, go. Cool. Does our new partnership allow us to have more than one style of control? Because the developers already have a more established control scheme set with the Xbox 360 controller. So is that possible? I don't think so. They sent me the contract right now, and it's just a picture of Bill Gates laughing.
Sonic Free Riders is a Kinect exclusive racing game released on November 4th, 2010. Its major selling feature is the fun of pretending that you're actually on a hoverboard flying around. Reviewers and game critics alike bash the game on how unresponsive the controls can be, and they usually are. But in terms of content, they rated it as a slightly below average game. This game is also the first time we got to see a new cast of voice actors since they ditched the ones hired by the 4Kids team, except for Mike Pollock, who will forever be Dr. Eggman.
Man, it's weird to think that the Studiopolis crew has been voicing the Sonic cast longer than the older two casts combined. And man, that's making me feel super old.
Story. Weirdly enough, this game somehow has a story much longer than the first game. This is mostly because they have long dialogue portrait-style cutscenes that all have the characters bickering at each other before each race. It mostly comes down to either having multiple Grand Prix or everyone has some kind of alternate timeline where you play as the team that will win that Grand Prix. I haven't 100% figured it out, but I mean, honestly, it's a Sonic Riders story mode, so it doesn't really matter. But these interactions can be a little entertaining, but don't really need to be watched since it all leads down to, oh, you think you're better than me? We'll see about that. And then you either race some kind of normal race or weird mission mode, like challenge to beat the rival team. Speaking of rival teams, there are 4 teams that race against each other during the story mode. Team Heroes, Team Dark, Team Rose, and Team Babylon, each having 3 members, except for Team Dark, oddly enough. It looks like Omega took off to go do something else.
I'll demolish this base. Activate secret weapon!
So Shadow and Rue signed up as a team of 2 only to say that they would be disqualified.
But there's only 2 of you. If you're here, where's your third teammate?
Don't worry about us. The 2 of us can handle this just fine.
That's not the point. The rules say that teams all have to have 3 members. Otherwise, they're disqualified.
In retaliation, they found the nearest thing that could ride on a board and forced it on their team. This happened to be a blue E10000 series robot. And with everyone being signed up, they all compete to be the best on a board. And, oh, by the way, the Grand Prix is hosted by a man named King Doc, but, you know, Eggman. As the racers race each other off and on again, it seems like the blue E10000 series robot is having a hard time keeping up with everyone and breaks down.
Hey, does he look funny to you?
Ah, look out! He could explode at any minute! You guys have got to get out of here!
after a few moments, the blue E10000 series robot explodes in a big burst of fire and is revealed to be Metal Sonic. Even Eggman didn't know about this and berates him for not telling him about his disguise. And at the same time, Tails quickly theorizes that Metal Sonic must have given Eggman false racing data to hoard the data for himself to make him the best racer of all time. And with that knowledge, Metal challenges Sonic to win the final ultimate race to see who was the best of the best. After losing to Sonic, he takes off to somewhere unknown, leaving everyone else to talk about the Rouen Grand Prix until the credits show up. So, this story I find is super duper pointless. I think it really was just a way for the script writers to really see how well the new cast could talk to each other over time. I don't really know what I'm saying. I just think it's a way for the new cast to stretch their character roles and see if they stick. But that's just me. Gameplay. Ooh boy, everybody knows how absolutely atrocious the controls can be. Well, it can be atrocious if you don't have it set up correctly. And yes, I said that. I'm kind of defending the game's controls. I mean, for the videos I've seen of people attempting to play this game, I swear they had their Kinect set up in a very, very weird or bad way, like bad lighting, bad angles, or something, since from my experience, I've had adequate lighting. You know, not from like a window, but like an actual artificial light source. And it seems to be very responsive for doing almost everything in the game, except for punching, because holy god, the punch didn't want to register during this frickin' tutorial I did, which I wholly recommend you do if you plan on playing this frickin' game. But man, having the controls not register my punch for 40 minutes straight is one of the most aggravating things I've ever had to do for recording on my Kinect. Speaking of punching, the three types make a return to this game, but they are tied to gear parts instead of the characters or gears themselves. With speed types, you ride onto a grindable rail and try to balance yourself to keep your speed up and take shortcuts to recover air. With fly types, you hold your hands wide, T-pose style, like a pair of wings, flying through these speed rings for shortcuts and air boost and air recovery. With power types, you have to time your punch to knock things off the track to create shortcuts and to recover air. I just mentioned air 3 times. You know what that means? We're running on air again.
Wait, we're running on air again?
That's right! Which means we got to do tricks like in the first game to replenish the gauge. And be careful about jumping how high in real life too if you have a low ceiling, because ouch, that hurt my head. It's going to be extra fun to actually time your jump by physically crouching and charging your jump right before you ride off a jump ramp to get the highest trick rank possible. Well, you can just jump normally and get up to an S+ rank, but in order to get an X rank, you actually have to time your jump very well and spin a 360-degree spin while you jump. You better pray to the Kinect that it sees you doing this too, since it's a total crapshoot if it thinks you did it or not, but thank God this isn't actually like necessary to beat the game or win these races. Oh, I almost forgot. You race around the track by physically leaning your body back and forth, avoiding players, their items, picking up rings, and physically jumping to launch off ramps for better tricks and aim to get first place. Yeah, even for a guy like me, this can get very exhausting very quickly. Even if you're having fun, I find it optimal to only race a few tracks before taking breaks. Winning a race is never easy. This game is much more item heavy compared to its older counterparts. It really likes to F you up with Mario Kart style item balancing. These items range from homing missiles that you throw at your rivals, to giant bowling balls you toss to smush people in front of you, and sometimes yourself if it hits a wall back right at you, to shaking soda cans for massive boosts, to shaking cans of rings that help you level up, to holding enemies from Sonic 2 that drop oil spills to block your rival sightings, to even hitting a golf ball that strikes out whoever's in first place, blue shell style. Now, these items can make the game real fun or extremely frustrating to deal with while trying to win. Nonetheless, it's nice to see these be more useful than just air, ring pickups, and boosts that the older games had. Oh, there are also bikes in the game, but I gotta be honest, I only did the tutorial on the bike and never touched it again. And I will probably only use them when I decide to finish the game's achievements. Sounds. The overall sounds are pretty much par for the course, pretty much exactly like the first game. The OST, however, is odd? I think that's a nice way to put it. I don't hate it, but it certainly is something quite different for a Sonic series soundtrack. For some reason, it gives me vibes similar to Sonic Rush's soundtrack, even though I know it's not exactly that kind of vibe, just similar. And this is coming from a guy who's almost listened to Rocky Ridge 8 billion times, so that's all what I really think of other than the main theme, so... I mean, the rest of it's nice, just Rocky Ridge is now embroidered in my brain. Modes. You know, there are a surprising amount of modes for a Kinect exclusive title in what I would call a Rush-developed game, but let's list them off. Free race, raced on any track that you may have unlocked. You can even remove comms and change the number of laps you race in the track, which I will actually take advantage of and we'll talk about in a little bit. Xbox Live mode. Honestly, if I were younger, this mode would have been neat to try out, matching up with other people ready to look like morons seeing who's the better in Visib order. Tag team. Man, I wish I had room, let alone someone else to convince to try this out with me, but yeah, basically you have two people putting their hands together and race really weirdly on a track and hope you win. Ring thing. Why did I call it ring thing? What's the real game mode called? Put it in the text below, editing me. Collect as many rings as possible before time ends. Whoever has the most wins. Very basic, but very fun. Relay race. Have two players share a position and swap out mid-race to finish said race. Kind of cool concept, and it lets other characters race on boards they weren't supposed to be on. Time attack. That usual thing to get the best time possible. They even have staff ghosts so you can beat for achievements. That's pretty neat. Uh-oh, I forgot about elimination mode. We're gonna have to talk about that exclusively later. Damage survival. This one I almost actually forgot to include because I never played it until like a minute before I started editing. This game mode is really weird. You have to damage your opponents enough to earn points in a certain time limit. It's not like lap-based or anything. And you get rewarded for staying in the front with points, but you also get points for knocking down multiple opponents. Whoever has the most points wins. Really weird. Again, like I said earlier, it's cool to see all these modes, it's just it deprives so much from the normal race mode, you kind of just don't even really want to touch them unless you're that curious, have to do achievements, or you're really weird. I don't know, I just feel like doing the normal race is good enough for this kind of game. Unlockables. Unlocking things in this game sucks. Even though the price of a lot of the items in this game are a lot cheaper, the grind for this feels just as long since you know you're going to have to take physical breaks in between gaming sessions and with how you play the game, and how much longer some of the races feel when you're standing throughout the whole race. Let me tell you, Gambler is a necessity if you want to unlock everything in this game. Your legs will thank you. And I just recently found out that there's a gear part that always lets the magnetic barrier be on, so that, coupled with Gambler, is a must-have combo if you want to buy everything relatively quickly. The way I ended up cheesing grinding rings was to 1. Turn the computers off, just because it's ultra annoying to have a bazillion items flying at you and you don't lose your rings. 2. Turn the laps to 1, because you can get to the ring cap relatively quickly within 1 lap if you're good enough. And 3, have that Gambler setup I just talked about. And on the right track, I can get 200 rings in 1 lap in about a minute and a half. So that is a godsend, since it would be completely infuriating to buy all of these gears just playing the game over time, which is probably how they intended it, but I needed to get the game finished fast. Oh, and on a side note for unlockable characters, I would not have known that Metal Sonic is playable in this game. But it kind of sucks that he has to be in Free Riders out of all the Sonic games. Really stinks. One other great thing they added was to turn the CPUs off, which I know sounds like I'm trying to make the game too easy, but this also pretty much takes away all the cheap items being hurled at you the whole time, like I said earlier, and you don't have to deal with all that while trying to get all your rings and unlocking everything. Here's my overall opinion. I feel like that is overstated when people say this game has had some potential behind it, but it was held back by the gimmicky Kinect and probable rush development time to meet the launch of said Kinect. And having unresponsive, frustrating controls, weird mission system tied to the story mode, and various other problems more relating to using your body at all times to progress in the game, it can be completely exhausting to even attempt to 100% the game. And that is why I decided not to do that. As much as I wanted to do it, intentionally sucking at the game to get some of the achievements, getting all S-rank missions to unlock Supersonic, which yeah, he's in the game, and playing every mode with every character did not sound like a timely investment to make. And you'd think with how long it took me to even finish this review that I would have done it too, but it was more laziness and life stuff getting in the way of this video's production. But hey, who knows? I know I really want to finish the game and 100% it, just not now. And who knows? Maybe I'll stream myself jumping up in the air like a moron on my Twitch channel. You know, twitch.tv/Xyno76. Probably don't expect it anytime soon, but I do play games on there. You can check it out. Pluggy, pluggity, plug, plug, plug. This is why I really wish they added controller support to the game, though. It had the structure to make it at least an okay Sonic Rider style game. Now, it wouldn't be as ambitious as the first one or changed fundamentally in Zero Gravity, but it would be a fun one to revisit with a controller, blasting and learning the levels. I really wish they were able to patch a controller version before they let the Kinect die off, but I guess we'll see if someone can find a weird way to do that in the future when emulating 360 titles becomes more accessible. With all of this being said, I do rate this game a very low, and it hurts me to say because again the potential, a 5 out of 10. An okay launch title for the Kinect, but it doesn't really give people who want to move their bodies as much value as, say, a Let's Dance game, or hell, even a Kinect Sports Adventures game. And it hurts me to say that again for being a Sonic fan, but I gotta give my honest opinion out there. This one was hard to do.
Man, that was a long series into the future, from over-explaining hoverboards to seeing how anti-gravity mechanics work to pretending you're on a hoverboard in real life with a Kinect. The Sonic Rider series really was something unique every time you played, even if it was something good or if it felt bad. But there we go. The series is done. My reviews are done. My opinions are out there. Man, does it feel good to finally be done with this series almost after a year and a half of constant development. But there we have it. Thank you everybody for watching any of the videos if you did, especially this one because it was the most pain in the ass to record. It's time to move on to another Sonic series. I will see you guys next time in Sonic fighting games, and hopefully it won't take as long as this series did because 2022 is here. Everybody's got New Year's resolutions, and I'm going to do my best to make sure I pump videos out like we'll be punching Sonic in the face. But yeah, see you guys in Sonic fighting games.